Libra love, if you're here right now, it's because the universe has handpicked you to hear this message. Between October 14th and 16th, an incredible energetic window is opening just for you. These are your big payday days when unexpected financial rewards, long overdue recognition, and even secret admirers begin to step forward. And this reading isn't just another horoscope. It's a divine appointment meant to unlock the gifts already written in your cosmic story. Let me ask you something. Have you ever felt like you've been showing up, giving your best, holding space for others yet the spotlight never quite found you? That changes now. The universe is shifting, Libra, and the stars are lining up to make sure you're seen, valued, and elevated. What you've planted in the past, whether it's a creative pursuit, a silent sacrifice, or a prayer whispered alone, is about to bloom in ways that will surprise you. With the waning moon in Pisces on the 14th, you're already sensing who's real around you and who's been wearing a mask. That heightened intuition isn't random, it's guidance. On the 15th, as the Sun forms a rare trine with Saturn, your hard work is being recorded not just by earthly systems, but by divine law. And on the 16th, when Venus lights up your own sign of Libra, your aura becomes magnetic, drawing in everything from surprise promotions and financial bonuses to admiration you didn't expect. If your heart's been heavy, if you've been waiting for a breakthrough, if something inside you has been whispering, "Don't give up, this is why." You're not here by accident. And before we even dive into the cards or explore the planetary patterns more deeply, I want to thank you. Yes, you. For showing up. For trusting your instincts. For clicking on this message at this exact moment in your journey. Every like, every comment, and every subscription you offer this space is not only a blessing to me, it's part of your own alignment with spiritual abundance. This community, Zodiac Whisper Tarot, isn't just a channel. It's a sacred space for souls like yours who are seeking clarity, healing, and higher purpose. And I don't take your presence here lightly. So if you feel that this message is already resonating with your spirit, if the thought of a financial windfall, a long-awaited recognition, or even a romantic revelation makes your heart beat a little faster, comment below and say, "I claim my Libra payday." Not for me, but for you. Let it be your energetic signature that says, "Yes, I'm ready to receive what I've earned." And now, stay with me, Libra. Because what the cards are about to reveal, what the universe is unfolding, and what your angels are trying to confirm for you, it's going to shift something deep inside. Don't miss what comes next. Let's begin. Some shifts are so quiet that they almost go unnoticed until you pause and feel the atmosphere has changed. Libra, October 14th brings one of those shifts. With the waning moon moving through Pisces, a water sign steeped in intuition and spiritual depth, you're invited into a sacred space of heightened inner awareness. This isn't about dramatic changes in your outer world, it's about your ability to perceive, sense, and recognize what your soul has known all along but may have quietly set aside. There's a certain clarity that comes when illusions begin to dissolve. You may notice that the words people say and the energy behind them no longer match. Someone's smile might feel forced. A compliment might carry the subtle sting of envy. And yet, rather than taking it personally or reacting, your power in this moment is to observe without absorbing. You've grown, Libra. You don't need to call it out. You simply need to notice and adjust your energetic boundaries accordingly. The moon in Pisces softens the edges of logic and opens the floodgates of spiritual perception. Dreams become more vivid. Sudden flashes of insight may appear in the middle of routine moments. You might walk into a room and instantly feel whether it's nourishing or draining, and that sense is not just valid, it's sacred. That's your inner compass, finely tuned by the divine intelligence within you. This is a moment to trust the inexplicable. There is no spreadsheet for intuition. No checklist for energetic alignment. But you'll know the truth by how it feels. If someone's presence unsettles you, pause. If an opportunity feels off despite looking perfect on paper, pause again. This space is not about rushing decisions, but about refining your spiritual perception so that you can walk forward with clarity and confidence. And sometimes, that clarity requires a letting go. It might be the way you've been explaining away someone's behavior because you didn't want to see what was really there. It might be a belief you inherited that keeping the peace is more important than being at peace. But now, something different is being asked of you. Not to abandon compassion, but to extend that compassion inward first. To let your heart know that it is safe to choose truth over illusion, even if that truth changes the shape of your relationships. This is the type of divine unfolding that rarely makes headlines but changes everything. When you no longer betray yourself to keep the illusion alive, you create space for something sacred, alignment. The kind of alignment that says, I don't need everyone to understand, may only need to understand myself. That's not selfish. That's wisdom. For those walking through heavy emotional layers right now, remember, clarity can be gentle. It doesn't have to come in the form of confrontation or chaos. Sometimes, clarity arrives like a soft whisper in your chest, saying, this isn't for me anymore. And in that quiet knowing, you set yourself free. You might recall a time in your own life when something didn't make sense until much later. Perhaps it was a job you lost that led to a calling you never expected. Or a person who walked away just as a door opened for someone far more aligned with your spirit. These aren't coincidences. They're orchestrations that only become visible in hindsight but that begin with inner discernment, like what you're being offered now. So allow yourself to see, Libra. Not with judgment, but with love. Be the light in the room, not by outshining others, but by being fully anchored in your own frequency. Let this moment remind you that your inner knowing is a holy compass meant to be trusted, protected, and followed. And if something or someone is being revealed to you now, it's not to break you, it's to bless you. You are not losing connection. You are being repositioned for deeper truth, real loyalty, and sacred alignment. Let that be your reward. Let it be enough. Let it begin. Some days don't just feel different, they carry a frequency that your body recognizes even before your mind does. October 15th is one of those rare days, Libra, where the air around you hums with the energy of long overdue reward. With the sun forming a harmonious trine to Saturn, you're entering a cosmic window where justice meets timing, and invisible work finally becomes visible. This is the moment when your quiet contributions speak louder than words, and your integrity begins to pay interest in tangible form. You see, Saturn doesn't reward quickly, but it always rewards faithfully. This planet, often misunderstood as cold or restrictive, is actually the keeper of promises. Not the promises others make to you, but the ones you've made to your soul. The ones you've honored in silence, showing up on hard days, staying kind when you were unseen, choosing grace when no one was watching. And now, with the sun shining a bright, supportive light, all that commitment you poured in behind the scenes is being acknowledged not just by the stars, but in real life. Tarot confirms this beautifully with the World and Ace of Pentacles appearing together. The World marks the closing of a major chapter, one that may have stretched you, challenged you, or even made you question your worth. But it also affirms your growth, your mastery, and your readiness for more. The Ace of Pentacles signals the seed of that more, a financial opportunity, a tangible gift, a new beginning rooted in stability and value. Together, they whisper, "You've done the work. Now receive the reward." What's most beautiful about this energy is that it doesn't ask you to perform. You don't have to raise your hand or post about your journey. In fact, the less you force, the more naturally it flows. Rewards now may arrive as emails you didn't expect, surprise bonuses from projects you'd forgotten about, or validation from someone in a position to open new doors. These aren't favors. They're confirmations. Still, it's not always about the money, is it? Sometimes, the richest reward is being seen. Being respected. Being acknowledged by someone whose opinion carries weight. And more than anything, being at peace with yourself because you know without needing applause that you stayed true. That's a currency this world doesn't measure well, but the universe never misses it. And if you're wondering how this fits into your everyday life, let me remind you of something gentle yet powerful. In a world that often celebrates noise, your consistency in the quiet is a radical act. It's easy to shout when you're winning. Much harder to keep sowing seeds when no harvest is in sight. But Libra, you've been sowing faithfully. And now the fruit is ready. This might be a good day to check your inbox. Revisit that message thread you forgot about. Look through that contract you set aside. But more than anything, check in with yourself. Because sometimes the door opens on the outside, but the readiness must come from within. Ask yourself, are you ready to receive without guilt? Without second-guessing if you're worth it? Because you are. There's a quiet kind of miracle that shows up when we least expect it, not because we demanded it, but because we were aligned for it. These are the days that feel like heaven's way of saying, I saw all of it. And maybe that's the most sacred reward of all. Not the check. Not the title. But the unshakable knowing that your patience, your perseverance, and your private efforts were never wasted. Today is not just a day for Libra. It's a day for the version of you who didn't quit when it would have been easier to. Honor that version. Celebrate them. And allow what's been trying to find you to finally arrive. There's a quiet beauty in being witnessed, especially when it comes from someone you didn't expect. October 16th carries this kind of magic, Libra, as Venus, the planet of love, attraction, and aesthetics, radiates powerfully from within your own sign. When your ruling planet returns home like this, it doesn't just boost your external magnetism, it realigns you with the parts of yourself that are most graceful, self-assured, and whole. And from that place of inner balance, you begin to draw in energies that are not only admiring but potentially life-shifting. It's in these moments of elevated frequency that we become more noticeable, not because we're louder, but because our energy is clearer. You may not even realize you're glowing differently. But someone else does. Someone's been watching. Whether it's an old friend, a coworker, or even a mentor figure, their attention isn't superficial. It's stirred by something deeper: your ability to remain elegant under pressure, your calm presence when others are reactive, The way you make things look effortless without sacrificing depth. This is the kind of admiration that moves slowly but intentionally, often revealing itself through subtle actions, a thoughtful message, a supportive gesture, a silent, "I see you." The Lover's card here is not simply about romance. It's about alignment. Energetic recognition. A mirror moment where someone sees in you something they feel missing in themselves and are drawn toward it, not out of need, but out of reverence. This could very well open a door, not just to connection, but to collaboration, support, or opportunity. And the key is in your awareness. Are you open to being seen? Are you willing to receive attention without shrinking away from it? Because when Venus is this active in your sign, the answer the universe keeps offering is, you're ready. What makes this moment even more profound is that it often arrives after a period of inner work. Think of it as the divine reflection of your growth. People aren't responding just to your appearance or your words, theory responding to your energy, the frequency you've cultivated through healing, prayer, journaling, showing up even when it was hard. That's what radiates. That's what makes you magnetic. I've known many people, myself included, who spent years moving through life quietly, doing the work behind the scenes, never seeking applause. And then suddenly, when they least expected it, someone stepped forward with an offer, an invitation, or a heartfelt expression of admiration. It felt random, but it never was. It was divine timing. A window opened by alignment, not effort. This is what today offers you. You may have someone in your orbit who has been observing your growth, your presence, and your resilience. Perhaps it's someone you thought had forgotten you. Or maybe it's someone who's only just begun to notice but who carries the potential to influence your next chapter. Stay open. Not desperate. Not expectant. Simply open. That's the posture of receiving. And as you move through this day, let yourself reflect on what you've become. The maturity, the discernment, the strength wrapped in softness that's not accidental. That's cultivated. So if someone sees you now and feels drawn in, let it be confirmation that the inner work is not invisible. The right people feel it. The right opportunities are shaped by it. The right relationships are built from it. There's a sacred kind of attraction that doesn't ask you to chase. It just asks you to remain true to yourself while walking in your light. And when someone recognizes that light, don't be surprised. Be grateful. It's not that they suddenly see you, it's that you finally allowed yourself to be seen. So if someone reaches out today, don't brush it off. If a connection deepens, don't question why. Just let yourself lean into the moment. Let it unfold. Let it begin. Not all energy that surrounds you is meant to be embraced. As your light grows brighter, Libra, so does the discomfort it causes in those who are still struggling with their own shadow. And that's not your burden to carry. October 16th doesn't just shine a spotlight on your grace and growth, it also illuminates the contrast in the hearts of those who haven't done the same inner work. The Seven of Swords appears not to scare you, but to sharpen your awareness. There's someone in your environment who doesn't celebrate your wins, not because you've done anything wrong, but because your authenticity reminds them of everything they're still hiding from. That kind of energy can be subtle at first. A backhanded compliment. A quick shift in their mood when you share good news. A silence that lingers too long after you speak your truth. It's easy to brush off, to make excuses, to downplay it. But Libra, your intuition is already whispering. This person sees your quiet confidence, your refusal to compete, your natural ability to thrive without begging for attention, and it unsettles them. Not because you're wrong, but because you're free. And for someone still living behind a mask, your freedom feels like a threat. This moment is less about confronting them and more about realigning your energy. Sometimes the most powerful thing you can do is nothing at all. You don't have to prove your worth, defend your path, or explain your peace. Let your presence be your response. Let your joy speak for itself. Let your continued elevation be the only language you need. Because people who are truly aligned with love won't be shaken by your growth, they'll be inspired by it. I've seen this happen in many lives, especially for those who are evolving emotionally, spiritually, and professionally. As they heal and expand, certain friendships begin to feel tense. Certain environments feel too small. And that isn't because the person changing has become arrogant, it's because they no longer fit the mold others tried to keep them in. Growth will always expose resentment in others who aren't ready to grow themselves. But that's not a reason to shrink. It's a reason to keep going. If you're tempted to dim your light to make someone else feel more comfortable, remember that true humility isn't about making yourself smaller. It's about being so rooted in your truth that you don't need to prove it. The God-given energy within you wasn't meant to be silenced. It was meant to illuminate. And just like a candle doesn't apologize for burning too bright in a dark room, neither should you. You were never called to be background noise in your own story. In everyday life, these moments might show up at work, in family dynamics, or even among old friends. Perhaps you receive recognition, and someone rolls their eyes instead of cheering you on. Maybe you express joy, and the room grows cold. When that happens, don't rush to fix it. Take a breath. Smile gently. And move forward with even more clarity. Your success doesn't hurt anyone, but it may challenge the stories others have told themselves about what's possible. Let this be your reminder that you are not here to be palatable to everyone. You are here to be aligned with what's right for you. And if that alignment stirs resistance in others, so be it. Keep choosing integrity over approval. Keep honoring your journey over their projections. Keep walking in your light even if others choose to look away. Because at the end of the day, your peace is not up for negotiation. And your light was never meant to ask for permission. Sometimes, the most profound blessings come not in grand gestures, but in the quiet unfolding of what has long been growing in secret. Libra, these 3 days, October 14th to 16th, they are more than just markers on the calendar. They are sacred thresholds. A divine invitation to receive what has already been set in motion through your integrity, your effort, and your unwavering belief in something more. You may not have seen the seeds you planted grow immediately, but that doesn't mean they weren't taking root. They were. And now, the harvest is closer than you think. When you've been walking in alignment, when you've shown up even when it was hard, when you've spoken truth gently instead of loudly, these are not small things. They are the kind of quiet faithfulness that builds spiritual equity. And the universe? It never overlooks that. Just as the seasons know when to shift, just as the tide knows when to return, your blessings are calibrated to arrive exactly when your heart is ready to hold them. This is that moment. In astrology, we often talk about portals, transits, and energetic alignments, but what we're really describing is timing. Divine timing. The rhythm between your preparation and your opportunity. And right now, those two are converging. If you've been praying for something, a breakthrough, a conversation, a miracle, the energy around you is finally catching up with that prayer. It's no longer a matter of if. It's a matter of, are you open to receiving? I've seen this happen in people's lives in ways that feel almost too perfect to explain. A single email that changes everything. A chance meeting that leads to a career shift. A delayed yes that turns out to be the perfect yes. These aren't coincidences, theory, divine choreography. But those alignments only land when your spirit is ready to respond with trust instead of resistance. And Libra, you've reached that place. You've done the work. Now it's time to allow the work to do something for you. This isn't about waiting passively. It's about preparing actively. Prepare your heart to be stretched by joy. Prepare your mind to say yes to something you thought was too good to be true. Prepare your body to receive with grace, not guilt. That's what this phase is asking of you: openness without overthinking, gratitude without fear. If an invitation comes, say yes. If a door cracks open, step through it. If something returns that once felt out of reach, trust that it's now returning in divine alignment. This is the time when lost things are restored. When overlooked efforts are praised. When the no that once hurt becomes the not yet that now makes sense. Your job is not to question the blessing. Your job is to be present enough to catch it. There's a verse I've always loved that says the faithful in little will be entrusted with more. That applies here. You've been faithful in small, unseen ways. In the way you held your dignity when you could have fought back. In the way you stayed hopeful when others mocked your vision. In the way you gave kindness where it wasn't returned. That kind of spiritual posture opens doors no resume ever could. And right now, something or someone is preparing to honor that posture with opportunity, with increase, and with affirmation. So, Libra, this is your moment not to prove yourself, but to embrace what's been promised to you all along. Let it in. Let it bless you. Let it remind you that everything you gave out in trust, love, and light is finding its way back home. You've been the giver long enough. Now it's your turn to receive. And receive fully. Sometimes the most powerful transformations don't happen with fireworks, but with a quiet yes whispered deep in your heart. Libra, you are not just witnessing a season of change, you are anchoring it. Through every act of faith, every moment you chose alignment over approval, stillness over reaction, clarity over chaos, you've been calling the miracle toward you, even when you didn't know it. From October 14th to 16th, you haven't simply walked through time. You've walked through a cosmic portal that only those with deep inner maturity can sense. The kind of gateway that doesn't respond to noise, but to resonance. To truth. To readiness. And you are ready. This video wasn't meant to give you predictions, it was meant to give you back your power. Power to recognize that you are not waiting on miracles. You're co-creating them. You're not hoping someone else opens the door. You're already holding the key. You're not chasing the light. You've become it. The question is, can you let yourself believe that now is your time? Think about everything you've navigated to get here. The moments when you stayed kind when it was easier to be cold. The nights when you cried out to the silence, wondering if your prayers were heard. The days when you held your head high while walking through spaces where you felt unseen. Those were not wasted. They were woven into your timeline as proof of your becoming. And now, the reward that's arriving isn't just about money or love or career. It's about identity. You stepping fully into the truth of who you've been all along. So I want you to ask yourself, sincerely and gently, am I open to receiving what I once begged for? Can I stretch my heart to welcome joy without guilt? Can I allow abundance to flow without wondering if I've earned it? And most of all, can I trust that the version of me today is worthy of the life I once only imagined? If even a small voice inside says yes, let that be enough. Let it move through you. Let it anchor in your words. I'd love for you to comment below and declare your readiness. I claim my Libra payday. Not just because the phrase is fun, but because words carry power. Intention anchors energy. And when you speak it, you own it. If this message touched something within you, share it. Someone in your circle is also walking quietly through their transformation, waiting for a sign that they're not alone. Be that sign. Be the reflection of hope you once needed. And if you haven't yet, I invite you to subscribe to this channel, Zodiac Whisper Tarot. Turn on the notification bell, not just for the next video, but because every time you show up here, you're choosing your own alignment. You're saying yes to growth, to clarity, to the version of you who no longer plays small. From my heart to yours, thank you for being here. For letting this be part of your journey. Your energy is seen. Your presence matters. And whether the world claps for you today or not, know this, heaven already has. You're not alone. You never were. And your moment? It's not approaching. It's already here. Let it in. Let it bless you. Let it begin.